The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Now, those last those last four words right there, broken the everlasting covenant. Broken the everlasting covenant. Now, this is described in past tense terms, but it is prophecy referring to something that has not yet happened in terms of its full manifestation. It has not been entirely and completely fulfilled. Okay? What we're looking at here is a scenario in which the earth is going to go through some things, and that's putting it mildly. But in verse 5, let's read that again. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Now, what we're going to do is tab over. I know I'm skipping across some different books and chapters right here, because now we're going into Psalms 105. We're going to discover something very interesting about that everlasting covenant that is described in Isaiah chapter 24. We're going to find a key to understanding exactly what that's referring to over here in Psalm 105. Who is this covenant confirmed with? It's confirmed with Jacob for a law, and to Israel for an everlasting covenant. There are the words. This covenant that we're about to read very specifically in verse 11, this covenant which is described in the book of Genesis, this covenant which the Lord made with Abraham, we're about to see with even more focus and clarity in Psalm 105 exactly what it is. But before we even get into verse 11, let's notice once again that Hebrew parallelism, as it is referring to Israel twice in two different ways. It's an everlasting covenant. This everlasting covenant is the covenant that we see described over here in Isaiah chapter 24, verse 5. Okay, it's cross-referencing. That is how we are locating and identifying what this covenant actually is. What is it that when we read Isaiah chapter 24, what is it that triggers all of this destruction and desolation that takes place, or that will take place? But it's described in the past tense, the perfect prophetic tense, because it is going to happen. While we're here in Isaiah chapter 24, let's go on to verse 6 and see what's triggered. Therefore, okay, there's that word right there. Whenever you see therefore, you want to check to see what it's there for. What triggers that which is described in verse 6? Well, that which triggers what is about to be described in verse 6 is this reference to the everlasting covenant being broken. In verse 6, it says, therefore, since the everlasting covenant was broken, therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Okay, now it's not just talking about a particular city. It's not just talking about a particular country. It's talking about the earth. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. What is it? What is it that triggers this curse which devours the earth? Well, I submit to you that it has something to do with this everlasting covenant being broken. What in the world is this covenant that, upon its being broken, results in the earth being devoured by a curse? Let's read verse 6 again. This is what's going to happen as a result of the everlasting covenant being broken. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left.